Good morning, students. I am Dr. Ritika, the faculty of CSC department. As an associate professor in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, today I am going to deliver the lecture on the subject of software engineering, which is related to the BCA 4th SEM. And today we will cover the topic of software re-engineering. So let's start about what is software re-engineering. Reorganizing and modifying existing software system to make them more maintainable is known as software re-engineering. Here are some objectives related to our re-engineering is to explain why software re-engineering is a cost-effective options for system evolution, to describe the activities involved in the software re-engineering processes, to distinguish between software and data re-engineering, and also to explain the problems of data re-engineering. Now next is the introduction. Now introduction to our software re-engineering are preventions, we can say preventive maintenance or re-engineering. So computer software determined due to the change, and because of this preventive maintenance or called software engineering must be conducted to enable the software to serve the needs of its end user. In this, there is no new functionality is added to the software. Rather, the system is modified so that it can be more easily corrected, adaptive, and enhanced. Software engineering is concern, concentrated with re-implementing legacy systems to make them more maintainable. So it may involve redocumenting the system, organizing and reconstructing the system, which translating the system to more modern programming language, and modifying and updating the structure and values of the system data. Here are some key points, like the objective of re-engineering is to improve the system structure to make it easier to understand and maintain. So it follows the process which involves source code translation, reverse engineering, program structure improvement, program modularization, and data re-engineering. So the source code translating is the automatic conversion of a program in one language to another language. So reverse engineering is the process of delivering the system design and specification from its source code. The program structure improvement replaces unstructured control constructs with while loop and simple conditionals. So program modularization involves reorganization to group related items. Data re-engineering may be necessary because of inconsistent data management. So, re engineering versus new software development. The critical difference between re engineering and new software development is called forward engineering, which is the starting point of the development. Rather than starting with the written specifications, the old system acts as a specification for the new system. Here are some diagrams with the help of which you can easily understand the re-engineering versus new software development. So in above diagram, which is related to our forward engineering, here we will learn software specification, some design and implementation, and then further we move to our new system. But in software re-engineering, some existing software systems which can understand and transformation and produce for re-engineering systems. So here are the difference between forward engineering and software re-engineering, and you can see reverse engineering versus new software development. So with the help of diagram you can easily understand the difference between re-engineering and our new software development. The reverse engineering, the objective and processes. The objective of the reverse engineering is to derive the design and specification of a system from its source code. It is a process of analyzing a program in an effort to create a representation of the program at a higher level of abstraction than source code. So reverse engineering follow the some processes like system to be re-engineered, then manually annotations move to their system information. Here you can say automatically move towards the system information, then stored in a document generation and order further classified into program structure diagram, data structure diagram and traceability matrices. This is the process of our reverse engineering. The re-engineering process is the re-engineering which is related to our original program, then source code to be translated into reverse engineering or program structure improvements. They further classified into different subprograms like program documentation, structure program, and they are related to our program modularization. After modularization, the program it moved to data re-engineering, or you can say some original data to be moved towards the re-engineering, data re-engineering, and they further move to our re-engineering data. So here is the process from their original program or source code, then convert into reverse engineering, then they program documentation, modularization and structural program to be modularized and original data to be submerged to the data re-engineering, or you can say re-engineering data, or you can say here is the process of our re-engineering. So the input to the process is a legacy program and the output is modularized versions of the same program. At the same time, a program re-engineering the data from the system may also be re-engineered. The activities in this re-engineering processes are source code translation, reverse engineering, program structure improvement, program modularization, and data re-engineering. So this process is based on our this diagram also. Now when to re-engineer? When system or subsystem changes effects on system or subsystem should be re-engineered. When hardware or software support becomes obsoleted and when tools to support restructuring are available. Now re-engineering advantages. First is reduced risk. The re-engineering advantages like reduce risk and reduce cost. In reduce risk, there is a high risk in new software development. There may be development problems, staffing problems, and other are specification problems. Reduce cost. The cost of re-engineering is often significantly less than the cost of developing new software. Now, business process re-engineering to concern with redesigning business processes to make them more responsive and more efficient. Forward reverse engineering and re-engineering. Same diagram we have done in our previous slides. Let's see how forward engineering based on their specification, or you can say system specification, design and implementation and new system, and in re-engineering existing software system related to understand and transformation and their re-engineering system. The diagram we have already explained about the processes of our re-engineering. Now re-engineering cost factors. The quality of the software to be re-engineered, the tool support available for re-engineering, the extent of the data conversion which is required, the availability of expert staff for re-engineering, all are related to our cost factors of our re-engineering. Source code translation. It involves converting the code from one language to another, for example from Fortran to C, which may be necessary because of hardware platform updated, some staff skill shortage, organizational policy changes, so only realistic if an automatic translation is available. Now the program translation process. Here you can see some systems to be re-engineered, where to identify source code differences, which is related to their design translator instructions, and some automatic translation code to be done, which is produced by some re-engineers, and manually they can translate the code, then the system is re-engineered. So here are the translation process through which re-engineering, or you can say software re-engineering, to be done. Reverse engineering, which analyzes software with the view to understand its design and specification, may be part of re-engineering process but may also be used to specify a system for re-implementation. They generate information from programs. The reverse engineering processes is related to our two aspects like automatic, manual. They convert system information stored then back to their documentation generation, which can be further classified into program structure diagram, data structure diagram, and traceability matrices. Program structure improvement. The maintenance trend to corrupt the structure of a program. So it becomes harder and harder to understand. The program may be automatically restructured to remove unconditional branches. The condition may be specified to make them more readable. Here are some approaches of our data re-engineering. These approaches are data cleanup, data extension, and data migration. In data cleanup, the data records and values are analyzed to improve their quality. Some duplicates are removed, redundant information is deleted, and consistency format applied to all records. So it should not normally require any associated program changes. Data extension. In this case, the data and associated programs are re-engineered to remove limits on the data processing. This may require changes to program to increase their field length, modify upper limits on the table, or many more. So the data itself may then have to be rewritten and clean up to reflect the program changes. Next is data migration. In this case, data is moved into the control of a modern database management system. The data may be stored in separate file or may be managed by an older type of database management system, that is DBMS. So here are the approaches of our re-engineering, which are based on data cleanup, data extension, and data migration. So here are the different programs, files, and their program can be further related to their subprograms. So some data migrations, DBMS follow programs and their logical and data, or sorry, physical data models. These are all are done by the database management system. The key advantages of re-engineering. First is reduce risk. Second is reduce cost. So in reduce risk, there is a high risk in redeveloping software that is essential for an organization. Errors may be made in the system specification. There may be development problem. In reduced cost, the re-engineering is significantly less than the cost of developing new software. Some disadvantages of software re-engineering. First is practically limited to the extent that a system can be improved by re-engineering. For example, it is not possible to convert a system written using a functional approach to an object-oriented system. The major architecture changes cannot be carried out automatically, so it involves high additional cost. And next, third is the although re-engineering system can be improve maintainability, the re-engineering system will probably not be a maintainable as new system development using modern software engineering methods. So these are the advantages of our software re-engineering. Some system re-engineering and legacy system. The restructuring or rewriting part or all of the legacy system without changing its functionality applicable where some but not all subsystems of a large system require frequent maintenance. They involve adding efforts to make them easier to maintain. The system may be restructured and re-documented. Legacy systems are all systems which are essential for business process supports and companies rely on this system so they must keep them in operation. They software evolution strategies which include maintenance, replacement, architecture evolution and software re-engineering. The majority of legacy system has been written in COBOL in programming language which is the best suited to business data processing or Fortran. So, a programming language for scientific or mathematical programming. These languages have limited program structuring, facilitate and in case of Fortran very limited support for data structuring. They maintain or we can say maintenance of these old system is increasing expensive, so re-engineering of these system extend their useful lifetime. It is a cost effective when it has a high business value but is maintained is so expensive. So they improve the system structure, create new system documentation and make it easier to understand. So student, it is all about our software re-engineering. Just take a little bit review what we have covered in our slide of our software re-engineering. We have covered firstly we have covered about the definition of our re-engineering. We have covered some objectives of re-engineering. Then introduction, re-engineering also called to be the preventive maintenance or preventive re-engineering or you can say re-engineering. Then we have covered what is software re-engineering. Then we have learned more about some key points of ours or objectives of our re-engineering. Here we have covered some key points of our re-engineering. Then we have learned about re-engineering versus new software development. Then with the help of diagram we can easily understand the forward engineering and software re-engineering or we can understand re-engineering versus our new software developments. Then we have covered reverse engineering which is the part of our software re-engineering. Reverse engineering is related to our re-engineering. Then we have done some processes of our reverse engineering, processes of re-engineering. Re-engineering processes we have covered, when to re-engineer, some advantages of re-engineering, some business aspects of our re-engineering, some forward re-engineering and re-engineering we have done with these exam diagrams. Then again we have covered re-engineering processes, re-engineering cost factors, some source code translations, program translation process, reverse engineering which is easy to understand its designing and specification part and also used to respecify a system for re-implementations. Then reverse engineering processes we have done. We have covered about some improvement areas of our program structure which is related to our re-engineering. Then we have covered some approaches of re-engineering. Then the diagram related to our approaches, some key advantages or re-engineering like reduce risk, reduce cost. Disadvantages we have covered about re-engineering. Some legacy systems we have covered our re-engineering. So students, it is all about our software re-engineering. So students, thank you very much for your kind attention.